Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Good morning, everybody.
Very nice.
Very
well done.
Nice.
Well
yes,
done.
David loves Julie. What an incredible gesture. That's awesome. That's awesome. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Get Booked Solid Tuesday. What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. Shawn, Lacey, and the amazing David Meltzer just dropping in. We should call this Get Ready With Me, but I think everybody on here is already ready.
Yeah, we're ready.
We're already ready. Hey, this week, Lacey and I dropped a podcast inside the Adaptable Entrepreneur membership group called Business Problems Are Personal Problems in Disguise. And I thought it would be really interesting to get your take, David, on a couple of these takes. You know, we go through business when things get out of whack. We start looking all around. We want the next silver bullet. Hey, what are you doing for ads? Who's your email guy? How can I get more clients? Who's running sales? And oftentimes we forget to turn inward and look at our own selves and see how many times business problems are really just personal problems in disguise. Knowing that we talk to a lot of entrepreneurs and people in the service world, I thought that maybe we would start by looking at self-worth. I know this is one that both David and Lacey are amazing at teaching on, but oftentimes what I find is when we are lacking in the self-worth department, it makes it very difficult for us to value what we do. So it's hard for us to charge for our services and feel good about it. But it also makes us go too far. So what happens is because I don't feel good about myself, David might hire me for a project, a job. I then am uncertain about my self-worth. I complete the job and now I don't really have a boundary. I keep going because I'm like, David, are you happy? Did I get it right? And that can also many times lead to business issues as well. David, Lacey, what say you guys?
There's a lot to unpack there. So let's just start with business issues being personal issues. And we share a friend, Bucky O'Neill, who teaches Malama. And one of the concepts is if you love the earth will love you. If you love your business, your business will love you. Everything is personal because everything is the meaning you give it. Everything is your perception. So in that realm, of course, every business issue is your personal issue. And it doesn't matter what team you're playing on or what position you're playing on that team. Secondarily, on the other aspect of just problems and solutions, human experience resolution occurs instantly once we identify a problem. Humans aren't capable of actually seeing the solution in the problem. But every problem we've all experienced in all the years that we've lived, there's been a solution. And it's been there the whole time. Mm-hmm. It's just the humans in our human nature has different lapse of time that is necessary in order to facilitate a solution to aforementioned problem. So when we can reconcile in our own mind that everything is personal according to the meaning we give it, and two, it's just a matter of time. So how can I shorten the distance of resistance that I'm creating between the problem and the solution? In that framework, I think people can find peace or ease. Now, the third issue that you brought up was worthiness. And it's interesting because it ties back to both in the respect that people don't feel worthy because they have not practiced, rehearsed, or been comfortable and confident in the value that they provide. All of those different dissertations of, oh, are they happy? Oh, does she like me? Oh, should I ask for... that all lies within the fact that you are not confident and comfortable in the value that you're providing to exceed what you're asking for, whatever that may be. And I'm not just saying in a monetary way. And so you've seen people that you wonder, maybe like me, how the hell did a guy like that get a girl like Julie? Well, because I was very confident and comfortable in the value that I brought to the relationship. I loved on the relationship, and the relationship loved back to me in that worthiness as a practice, a rehearsal. I didn't want to step up to a girl if I was insecure. I wanted to get into a place. I would rehearse in my head my first opening line, which I still do in a meeting or in an interview, right? I'm comfortable and confident in who I am. And I'm okay with a percentage of the people not liking who I am. But ironically, more people will if you're confident and comfortable in yourself.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's so much to unpack here. And I think so many people go through life and feel unworthy of being provided, the value that they want, the right relationship that they deserve, whatever it is in life. And I think it's really easy for us to lose sight of our worthiness, even though you actually are worthy. So it's not about not being worthy. It's about, can you see that you are? And I always tell a lot of my clients, the biggest thing is figuring out, what do you provide people? Do you ever sit down and just say, what is the value that I've given and how has it impacted people's lives? Being very intentional about thinking how what you do and say and the service that you provide, how it really impacts individuals. So just even writing a list sometimes and taking your top clients and asking yourself, how did that impact their relationships? How did that impact their financial situation? How did that impact their emotional state? And writing that down and revisiting that list daily can really give you the confidence that's necessary to feel the value that you deserve and the worthiness that you deserve. And I think that that's really important because it's there, right? Your worthiness is accessible to you 24/7 all the time. It's a matter of, are you willing to grasp it, capture it, and sit in it, right? And then if you can do whatever it is that you want. You wouldn't be given the God-given seed of your skill set, your power, the thing that you're supposed to do if you weren't worthy of doing it, right? And I think that you have to be reminded of that.
I want to jump back to something you said earlier, David, that every problem has a solution. That we inherently, I believe my understanding was, we inherently understand that truth, but that in our human experience, there's a time continuum, a gap between the recognition of the problem and the application of the solution, and that the goal is to shorten that time continuum. Give us some insights on how we might be able to shorten that. And then I'm wondering, is it ever possible are there individuals that we're able to get it so that there actually is not a time continuum? Is that ever possible?
I think possible. It doesn't happen very often. More simplistic things that are inherent in our nature probably can be found immediately. And we see people like that all of a sudden, how the heck did they figure that out or answer that so quickly? Remember that every problem has more than one solution as well. So the solutions, I should say, which is a really critical point of lapsing time, because if we're looking for that one solution, then we have no faith in ourselves and in God or whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, that, look, this is just an indicator and I'm moving to the next step, which shortens that distance of resistance by making a decision with a solution. It may not be the best solution, but it'll be a solution in your divine direction that you're looking for. Other areas is to know what interferes with you in the solution. And that's where I spend an enormous amount of time helping people, because I don't think we need to analyze and out logic the problem. We can shorten the distance of our reaction to the problem. And so for me, understanding the resistance that we create by trying to go over, under, through, around, lie to, cheat, manipulate, deny a problem is resistance, and it accelerates that resistance in every facet of our life, biochemically, bioanatomically, energetically, emotionally, which is an energy, physically, it creates dis-ease. So my mechanism that I teach people is to be at ease when a problem occurs, which puts us at dis-ease. And so for me, free will, to me, the greatest free will we have is to stop in the face of a problem, in the face of fear. So if we just stop and get to our center, breathe, drop to our center to ease, the faster we're back at ease, the quicker we can shorten the distance with the wisdom that will come to us in the faith, which is, to me, unlimited amount of energy and an unlimited amount of information in order to solve that problem. So for me, it's stopping using our free will to be at ease when you are at dis-ease.
It's really interesting, the concept of ease, because I think about this a lot. I mean, I think everybody is consistently chasing the state of ease all the time, because once you've been there, you always want to go back there, right? The reality of it is not just can you get yourself in that state, but how long can you stay there? Because if you think about it, I mean, a lot of people will do things. They'll wake up in the morning, they'll do their morning routine, they'll meditate, they'll journal, and you'll be in that state of ease. And then boom, you go out into your daily life, and all of a sudden it pulls you back into a state of fear. So it's not just can we get there, it's how long can we stay there? And it's like a muscle, right? It's how long can we create the sustainability of that state. And so I always encourage people, like, whatever you do to get yourself in that state, you have to do it often enough throughout the day to prolong that period so that you can be in a state of ease.
Or another way to say the same thing is that if we use linear time and we spend the majority of our time during the day at ease, I find it interesting in the Jewish religion and culture still today, the most popular word in the Jewish language is shalom, which means peace or ease. So what do they say when they meet someone? Shalom, I come to you in peace. What do they say when they leave you? Shalom, I'm leaving you in peace. These are reminders, remembrances, and recollections of these periods of time that as we greet one another, there may be some dis-ease as we reconcile and align our own visions together into this mastermind, a collective consciousness. But we always want to bookend it at ease. I come to you in peace. I leave you in peace.
I always, sitting here with the two of you, feel like I channel the sideline public, and what I hear is
you're the what's that, the majority, the moral majority.
The moral majority. Well, what comes to me when I'm hearing you guys talk about this, bookending in peace, or trying to spend the majority of your time at ease, is the moral majority is going to say, look, but what happens is, okay, so I have this one issue, and then boom, I get it. Stop, drop, and roll, back at ease. Then this jerk cuts me off in traffic. Boom, out of ease. Then I got to work, and then the internet was off, and I had to fix that. And then, like, isn't just that we're just constantly I'm just stop, dropping, and rolling all day long.
That's beautiful. So what's so interesting is, yes, that's exactly what you're doing. And so these intermediate interruptions are that which facilitate the growth, just be at ease more of the time. So instead of spending with the repetitive nature of interference, instead of spending the majority of the day for the majority of the moral majority in dis-ease, by practicing like Lacey suggests and making it a practice, we actually then spend minutes and moments. So what are we doing? We are actually, there's a problem, someone cuts me off. There's a solution in it. Instead of going and accelerating in the wrong direction, creating biochemical dis-ease, bioanatomical dis-ease, emotional dis-ease, I'm putting myself back to ease. When I'm at ease, when I'm recovering and accessing information, when I'm at ease, recovering and accessing information, I'm at my best because I'm one with God. I'm one with the infinite. I'm one with infinite information and infinite energy. I've actually reached the stage in my life where instead of trying to shorten the distance of resistance, I'm at ease and have so much energy and information coming through me that I've created new mechanisms to regulate the information and the energy because there's too much. The human body, as you know, as doctors, we can't handle the amount of information that's accessible to us. Now, internet and social media and that has really elevated the awareness to how much information's out there and how we can't handle it. Mm-hmm. But I'm suggesting to everyone as well, if you think there's a lot of information out there, there's an infinite amount more. And two, there's an infinite amount of energy that's more than that information. Remember, information is energy in itself. Right. So if you think you could be at ease the whole time, that's why the human anatomy created the ego. was to regulate the amount of information and energy that we're connected to and through. And this regulation starts with the practice of stopping, dropping, and rolling every time a problem like those that you continue to get every day. And so do I, which is why, by the way, the need to be offended is so awful, right? Because those are going to come all day. If you have a need to be offended, man, it's just going to feed you all day. You need to be at ease, not offended.
There's a concept in chiropractic that BJ talks about constructive and destructive forces, which is really interesting because if your destructive forces outweigh your constructive forces, essentially you can put the body in a state of dis-ease and it can't repair and heal, right? Can't return to normal. Well, it's really interesting. We're talking in life, like ease is a constructive force. Dis-ease is a destructive force in your life, in your psyche, in your mental, emotional state. So if you can just stay in a state of ease for 51% of the time, you're going to constantly be moving in the right direction. And I think so many people are trying to chase this elusive state of ease, 24/7, like we're monks. And like what we're talking about here, that's just not the reality. Can you just do it 1% more of the time than being in a destructive state? So the more that you can get out of that destruction as fast as possible and stop, drop, and roll allows you to move forward in a constructive way in your life, which I think is important for us, that we don't have to be perfect all the time.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I think that's really smart, right? And you've been with me. People think that, as you teach these things that, oh my gosh, you get mad?
Yes,
right? You're like,
we do.
What? Well, yeah, like shit happens every day. I just don't spend very much time. And you've been around me enough as we travel that you see me frustrated or worried, but not for very long. And, I'm able to go ahead and do that, which is a really important thing because it is a counterbalance. You don't want to have these destructive or dis-ease mechanisms in your life because they compound the same way that the positive stuff compounds.
Mm-hmm.
And that exponentiality, the 1,000 steps that I teach, the construct of behaviors aggregating, accelerating, and compounding, these negative behaviors aggregate, accelerate, and compound. And then you can't even stop the momentum, the negative dis-ease momentum that you've created. And that's where you see physical manifestation of dis-ease.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you smarty pantses. One last one for you. But what about the interferences? Are there size and magnitude to these interferences? I think in the same thing, when you talk about a physical manifestation, I could have a slight scrape on the back of my hand, or happened to me a week ago, I could get sunburned, and then, my skin will dry up and flake off. And that's not a very big deal. I could, though, break my arm, and that is a way bigger deal than a sunburn as far as the dis-ease and the ability to get out of that state of dis-ease. In the realm of living, are there magnitudes of problems? Maybe I have a conflict with my daughter that might weigh on me, and a guy cuts me off, and then I can minutes and moments my way out of that in the car. But then as soon as I've minutes and momented myself out of that, my mind goes back to the state of dis-ease with maybe a conflict with my daughter. And is there magnitude? And if there is magnitude, what do I do differently when there's larger magnitude?
I think we're going to agree on this. Yeah.
I don't think there's magnitude. I think there's location of dis-ease, and it's conscious location, subconscious location, or quantum or unconscious location that exists, which causes the arrival or awareness to, the difference. Someone cutting you off at the conscious level, you can be well rehearsed in practice and dissipating and dissolving in that dis-ease, where issue with your daughter may be one of subconscious or even energetic or genetic inheritance, which takes a lot more work because it's more prevalent within your own core competency, your own conscious competency. And so for me, because we give meaning, like, think about this. You talked about the physicality of a sunburn versus breaking your arm. Well, David Goggins gives meaning, right? His meaning of 2 broken knees, and he can run a marathon. Mm-hmm. Think about the meaning that he gives the physical dis-ease that must I'm not wanting that shit cancel, right? But I don't even run a fucking marathon, let alone with broken knees, right? And so the meaning that I would give that would be, wow, this is quote unquote a big disease, right? This is a major disease, not for David Goggins. Like, right? It's like you getting sunburned, bro. And that's just the meaning he gives it. So I think it's better or more healthy to look at where's the location of this disease and then resolve it accordingly, knowing that those things that exist in the conscious really only last for 24 hours or less. The things that are in the subconscious will repeat itself even when you're not awake. And the energetic and genetic inheritances, which, you know, looking at relativity association and bleeding and feeding, a daughter most likely will be impacting you in the matter of disease at the unconscious level because there's genetic and energetic inheritance between the two of you.
And I think the way that I would say it is that, yeah, I do actually think there is magnitude and amplitude, but it's only dictated by the response that you give it. The meaning that you give it. And so Shawn and I were in the same sun for the same amount of time. He peeled and I didn't because of the way that his body responded to the sun and the way that mine did. So some people could have an issue with their daughter and handle it in a different way that somebody else would have the same issue with their daughter and handle it in a different way. So it really is that magnitude is only dictated how you respond and how you handle a specific situation. So if you feel like everything in your life has huge magnitude and impact, then you have to ask yourself, what meaning am I giving it? What response am I giving it? And how do I begin to control that? Again, all business problems are personal problems in disguise. How do I personally control and react to the problems that are in my way, giving it its meaning? And so if you can always be reminded of that, and you can begin to say, how do I control me more and my response more? The size of your problems will begin to dissipate.
Well, this most definitely wasn't the direction I thought we were going to go, but what I love about Get Book Solid and our Tuesday morning encounters is the divine direction that gets communicated, even though, listen, we're about as far away geographically as we can get and still be inside of the United States. It gives you an idea too of the magnitude and amplitude of the divine direction. And one of the things too that you had said earlier that I just wanted to comment on, I love talking about this because when we talk about universal intelligence or the infinite, I always love to say to people like, hey, so do you have an idea when I say that? Do you have an idea in your head what that is? And people are like, yeah. And then I tell them, but it's not that. Whatever you think it is, it's not that. And so even if you continue to expand your mind, it still is not that. Like, it's just unfathomable, what we're dealing with in that realm. I wanted to wrap up because we're going to see.
I know you gotta go. I gotta just comment on that because that's where forgiveness lies. Like when you feel revenge, when you feel someone has done you wrong, ask yourself, like Shawn does, what do I think they think of me? Or what do I think they think? And that's where forgiveness lies, because it's not that. Mm-hmm. It's not that. It's literally because of the infinite. I promise you're wasting your energy and your time and your revenge. You're creating dis-ease in your life. So that, what you said, go back, everyone, listen to Shawn and ask yourself, this is where forgiveness lies.
I want to wrap up though. I'm going to see you. Lacey's going to see you this week. We're super excited.
And Julie.
Oh, and Julie. We're super excited. Tell us a little bit, because I hope that we'll be able to share a lot with your community. But tell us right here on Tuesday what the honor of receiving your honorary doctorate degree in chiropractic, what that means to you in your world.
It's so interesting because I used to be so interested in the title. And I think the most significant thing for me to be honored by people who I love and respect so much, like you, Lacey, and of course the whole staff at Sherman College, Jack, etc. When people that you admire acknowledge you, and I look at my own advancement in the philosophy of chiropractic medicine, because that's all I know is philosophy of chiropractic medicine, because I'm not a doctor. All that would have interested me 30 years ago would have been for everybody to call me doctor. And that has no interest. In fact, would not want to depreciate the value of how hard you work to get your degree, just like I did to get my Juris Doctorate. But the honor is overwhelming, and the acknowledgement of my philosophies are scientifically backed and medically backed really brings me such joy that I have credibility in my philosophies that I teach every single day. And just like you channel the moral majority, I somehow, and maybe I'm reincarnated as BJ Palmer, I don't know, but I'm starting to read the stuff and I'm like, how the hell do I know this stuff already? Because there's pages and pages of stuff. I'm like, how do I know this already? This is the most remarkable thing. And so for me, the acknowledgement and honor is great. The title is meaningless, but the people that are honoring me are the most important part of the whole thing.
Maybe you're Napoleon Hill recreated. We saw evidence that in 1965, Napoleon Hill was also honored with an honorary Doctor of Chiropractic degree. So
he died in 70. He died in 1970. So I was alive. Yeah, but I channel Napoleon Hill, that's for sure.
When did BJ die? I forget what year.
BJ died in 61.
Yeah.
I'm 68. See, yes, we're linear.
There's time. There was time.
Okay, BJ Palmer. Well, I can't wait to see you this weekend, Spartanburg, South Carolina. If you're anywhere in the Greenville, Spartanburg area, hit me up, Shawn at Adaptopreneur, Shawn at blackdiamondclub.com, David at dmeltzer.com. It's on your screen. We'd love to have you out for the festivities. You are all invited. Come out and honor David Meltzer this Friday in Spartanburg, South Carolina. It's worth the ride. You're going to love it. Can't wait to all gather together and honor you, Dave. Can't wait to see Julie. Safe travels, my friend. Go ahead.
Don't forget May 14th in SoFi Stadium with Shawn, and then dinner with Shawn, Lacey, and I. So we're having a mastermind interviews at SoFi Stadium and a VIP dinner in LA. So you got this weekend in Spartanburg and then LA in 2 weeks. So everybody join us.
Everyone join us. Everyone's invited. And in fact, you're also invited to join us again next week, Tuesday, right here on Get Booked Solid. See you guys. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to